Now, from the heart of Texas, this is the Mark Davis Show on 820 AM and 96.7 FM, WBAP.
It is the 10 o'clock hour, 214-787-1820, 1-800-288-WBAP. All right, in a minute we need to talk about what exactly happened in Massachusetts that makes it harder for Mitt Romney to give the Obama administration grief over forcing the Catholic Church to do stuff it doesn't want to do. But first, let us combine some presidential race talk with some U.S. Senate race talk. It's tough to get folks to tell you who they're supporting for president, because a lot of times they don't want to do it because they just want to don't want to make anybody mad and they don't want to alienate other people. And so I had a big forum in Richland Hills, and Ted Cruz was there. He did come out for Governor Perry, which may be Exhibit A of why endorsements are tough and risky, because then if it doesn't exactly work out, you're left like, well, okay. And then maybe you go somewhere else, and that's fine. But it tends not to happen more often than it happens. So in a day that we are still awash in the Rick Santorum experience, someone from the U.S. Senate race, the crowded field looking to replace Kay Bailey Hutchison, where the Republican primary winner will be the next U.S. Senator from Texas, there's a gentleman who has stepped forward and says, you know what, I'm a Santorum guy. That would be Craig James, who joins us from Salina. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, how about the enthusiasm yesterday in the DFW area for Rick Santorum?
Yeah.
That guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, we were right up in your county there for Plano for Fairview. I'd never been to Fairview Farms before. That place rocked and the room rocked and it was something. So what led out? And it's kind of funny. Let's go right to listener skepticism. Oh, yeah, Santorum comes to town. He's the flavor of the month. Sure, Craig, and everybody else might want to endorse him too. What did lead to your decision?
Well, a year and a half ago, as I was considering this run for the U.S. Senate, I went to Washington, and I had dinner with Rick Santorum. And Rick, at that time, was thinking about running for the presidency. And so we talked about it. We shared our thoughts and our values. And the same thing he talked about then, he's talking about today. Faith, family, free markets, freedom, opportunity, and defending those. And that's what this country needs. The more we go through this process, the more we see from Barack Obama, the more we realize that we need someone like Rick Santorum who can step out there and beat him, a conservative voice, to challenge Barack Obama. And I think Rick's the guy.
This is right here, front and center on your website, which is TexansForCraigJames.com. Since a lot of people don't, there may be some folks who are thinking about voting for you who are sort of Romney people or Gingrich people, and with fine reason in both regards. And what do you want to tell them?
You know what, I think this, by me doing this, it's twice now that I've shown some leadership. I released my tax returns for 5 years. Didn't want to do that, Mark, and that was kind of one of those deals to where you're exposing yourself, but it was the right thing to do because it was transparency. This here again, supporting Rick Santorum, it's not just that I woke up and thought about doing this. Rick was in my neighborhood yesterday, and the timing is perfect for that. I want to be heavily involved to help support him. I want to help anyone who is willing to go out there and fight for freedom and opportunity. And I think Rick Santorum is a guy who has a strong background, a strong proven record, and he's going to do the things that we need morally for this country as well as fiscally.
I want to go into the Senate race issues for a second, but look at the website, which again is TexansForCraigJames.com. If you scroll, there are a couple of things. You leave a little something there every couple of days. There's some piece on Eric Holder to be held accountable. Craig James releases tax returns. And at the bottom, maybe this is one of the first things you put, a calling to run. I guess you posted this on January 24th. And you're sitting at a desk. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, is that in the Oval Office? Is this imagery on purpose? It looks like the pictures in the back, the yellow curtains, it looks like you're in the Oval Office. What the heck is that?
Well, I think it just it was a perfect shot. You know what? I guess the calling, it collided with me being fed up with what's going on. Yeah. And between those two things, that's why I've gotten in this race. I put 9,000 miles on my pickup in the first month of doing this. I've been all over this place. And the reception that I've received has been humbling and encouraging. And now that the conservative grassroots leaders are hearing from me, they're saying, okay, this is why this guy got in this race, and he is a good option for us to consider. So I'm going to keep wearing the truck out.
Kind of like if the presidential race is a bunch of people trying to not be Romney, I have a feeling the Senate race is a bunch of people trying to be the not Dewhurst. And you bring, and with Mayor Leppert's got the business thing going, going, so do you. Ted Cruz has the Tea Party love kind of thing going, so do you. So in positioning yourself, let's talk first about one, because Mayor Leppert will properly come out and talk about a bunch of business experience, but people always ask me, Craig James, what's he done other than, the ESPN? I mean, of course, back to SMU and all that. But tell us a little bit of private sector business stuff, other than, being on the television. What have you done?
Well, yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, since I was 20 years old. And I came out and I started a school of broadcasting. I trained many of the men and women who are on the air today. Then I had a production company that was for internet and video for sports content, one of the original on the internet. Then I've been in my ranching and my real estate business, and I've done that for a long time. And so I have been in this game. It's just that I've been private, and people don't know that part about me because I haven't had a reason to share that part of my life with them. And that's what this whole first month has been about, letting people know that I understand free markets, risk and reward, no bailouts, no subsidies, no backstops. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And so I think, when you hear those things, these other candidates, everyone has a platform. Everyone has their life's resume. And I believe that my resume from life and life's experiences, the multiple things I've been through, have prepared me to ask people to consider me as their senator.
So there's the business thing, which you bring, which Mayor Leppert brings. Now let's talk a little bit about the sort of the social conservatism, Tea Party passion, constitutional passion thing. Ted Cruz has a lot of that going for him. You do too. Why are you better than him?
I'm not better than him. I'm just telling you who I am and what I stand for. And I didn't just all of a sudden wake up, Mark, and start thinking I'm going to be conservative. I've always believed that the greatest governance occurs in a home between a man and a woman, if so blessed to have a child. I've always thought that. I am 100% pro-life. I've always believed that. So, I'm just now revealing, publicly these things and these positions. I didn't just kind of create them overnight so that I would be an attractive interest for the Tea Party.
All right, maybe tell me if this is talk show guy reading too much, okay? Number one, first of all, you say you've constantly been pro-life. Is that an observation meant to contrast you with somebody who you feel is recently conveniently pro-life?
I'll let all you guys, you wise guys.
All right, great. Well, then, all right, I'm going to get the next one. Here comes the same kind of thing, then, but I got to do it. If you say you didn't just recently awaken and decide to put on conservative clothing, is that the suggestion that somebody else in the race has done that?
Well, I think that people really need to look into what the words are about from each candidate. And when someone says something, examine what they've been through. For instance, I talk to people about facing adversity. You know it and I know it, Mark. I've faced adversity recently, and it was tough, and I'm still standing. I stood for right and against a bully. I've been through lots of different things financially in my business interest that have had me looking at the clock at 5 o'clock in the afternoon wondering if I could make payroll. I've experienced those things and the adversity that comes with that. We need people who have proven track records in life, and that we know that when they go there, there's going to be a backbone to support what's right and not give up.
In our last minute, Craig, this was going to be the conversation we had, the first of many, but probably the first, where I didn't even bring up tech. I didn't even bring up Mike Leach. But if you're going to do it, let me tell you what my latest thought is. Mm-hmm. They say people's memories are long, and they are sometimes, especially, whatever. There may be some people who will never forgive you for helping force Mike Leach out. But as we look at a Senate race and in a busy presidential year, the number of people, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, the number of people in Lubbock who are pretty well over that may be increasing by the minute. And the people who say, he can't possibly win because of that tech thing, I don't know. I don't even know how much that hurts you anymore.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? I'm really open about talking about it more because Adam's gone. It's not going to be a distraction to him and his teammates. But most importantly, I want people to really think about it and consider this. I supported my son against a bullying act. Bottom line, none of this would have happened if Mike Leach hadn't ordered Adam in dark solitary confinement twice. None of this would have happened. So, it's again another testimony to someone who has been in a tough situation, really tough situation. I did the right thing. I'd do it another million times. And I say this, Mark, to those who don't get that, and if they wouldn't support their son against a bully, I don't want their vote. They can keep their vote. I'm going to do what's right, and I'll support people who are being bullied or are being taken advantage of.
Website is TexansForCraigJames.com. The top item is his endorsement of Rick Santorum. Craig, pleasure. Safety on the campaign trail. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy, buddy. Okay. All right. That is wild. We've now moved from not only is Craig willing to be asked about the tech thing, it's like he embraces it now. The thing that a lot of people said, I said, you said, listen, I think you can be elected to statewide office with one city hating you, unless that city is Houston or Dallas or San Antonio. And God bless Lubbock, but there ain't enough of y'all to torpedo Craig James if every single one of you hated his guts. First of all, I think that is waning by the day. The memory of that fades like the memory of everything fades. I know for some of you, guns up, I'll never forget. Screw him. I know. Pardon the French there. I know. But the number of people in that club, number one, ain't going to vote for him anyway, and I think is dwindling by the moment. He clearly now embraces that, and the pitch now is I went to bat for my son against a bully, portraying Mike Leach as a crazy person, a criticism which may well stick, and his son as wholly innocent. Now, there are a lot of people for whom Mike Leach is the hero here. Top of that list is Mike Leach himself, who will certainly bend your ear about this if you let him. And that Craig James' son Adam was a showboat and a problem and a discipline issue. Guess what? I don't know. I wasn't there. And if here's the sound of a dad stepping forward to say, I'm sticking up for my son against a bully, if we stipulate that none of us was there and knows exactly what the deal was, that's the kind of thing that resonates. And I'm going to say one last thing as we hit traffic and come back, talk about this or anything else you want. I still have no idea whether Craig can make a runoff with David Dewhurst. I have no idea if Craig can catch Ted Cruz. I have no idea if Craig can catch Tom Leppert. I have no idea. But gone are the days when I wonder why he's running. It's like, why is he even running? What does he bring that's different? A considerable set of stones is one thing. The willingness to come out and say, you know what, Santorum's my guy, that's another. And in primaries where a lot of people are kind of cookie cutters and everybody seems to be kind of the same, Craig's not the same. And I got a lot of love for Mayor Leppert. I got a lot of love for Ted Cruz and Dewhurst on all the time. And he and I have been close for a long time. And we'll see how this all works out. But this is a very, very interesting race. All righty, 10:17. So interesting that I'm crazy late for traffic.